Today we're going to do a full face of Maybelline. I'm going to start with this setting spray, this Lasting Fix. I'm going to spray that all over my face and use it as my primer. And then I'm going to go in with this Lumi Matte Longwear Foundation by Maybelline. I believe this is a new foundation. It came out a couple of months ago. I've worn this already and I really like it. I don't like foundations that are super heavy. This is really light. I feel like I got a perfect match. This is the shade 350 and it's sort of a neutral undertone. So I'm going to put this all over my face. This is supposed to last 30 hours. I've not worn it that long, but it does last me throughout my whole workday pretty well. I don't really touch it up. It is very luminous. I noticed throughout the day that I do get a little glow to my face. So if you're oily, I'm not sure how this would work with oily skin. I have normal skin, so it doesn't bother me too much, but I really like it. If you like skin tints and light foundations, I feel like you would like this. Look at that. I feel like it just looks just like my skin, except better. It's just smoothing it out and making it super flawless, in my opinion. Now I haven't been wearing concealer every day, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to go in with this Maybelline Eraser Multi-Use Corrector Concealer, and I'm just going to use a little bit underneath my eyes, some in between my eyebrows. I should have put some under my eyebrows just to kind of clean them up a bit. I need a wax, but yeah, so we're just gonna let that sit, and then I'm gonna go in with this Lifter Sticks Multi-Use Face Stick, and I have not seen this before. I just saw it at Ulta when I was picking up that foundation, and I got the shade 85, and I'm gonna use this, I guess, as a contour slash bronzer. I'm just gonna put this on the areas that I usually bronze, and this is a really good color. It feels really good when you're using it on the face, and it's really dark actually. I like this the way it looks, so I'm just going to try to blend it out. I probably went in a little too much with it. I don't know what I was doing. Well, I was trying to contour my nose a little bit, and then I normally use bronzer on my eyes as like an eyeshadow, so I try to put a little bit there today, just to kind of make it easier for me and to not use so many products. But we're just going to blend this out, and hopefully I can get this blended pretty well. I'm doing my best to leave this video somewhat real time. This is my everyday routine, so you can kind of see how long it takes me to do this routine in the morning. So there's not going to be many cuts. I'm going to leave all the blending in, all my face checks. You'll notice that I'll step back and kind of see how my face is looking outside of the lighting, just to make sure that it's looking how I want to look. So just enjoy kind of a real time process here, so you can kind of see exactly how long it takes. Yeah, I think I put a little bit too much on this nose area, so I'm going to go in with my foundation brush just to try to blend it a little bit more so that it's not so harsh on my nose, and just blend everything out. This was definitely the longest part of the routine, just getting this bronzer blended out. Next time, I probably will not be so heavy-handed with it. Alright, now that I'm done with that, I'm going to take a damp beauty blender and just blend out my concealer using a patting motion. And again, I don't typically wear concealer every day because my goal is to not get a whole lot of creasing underneath my eyes, and my esthetician said that sometimes the concealers, if you wear them every day, they can dry out your under eye. And you know, as I'm getting older, I want to make sure that my face, especially under that area when I'm not sleeping as well, that it stays hydrated so that I don't get creasing or bags under my eyes. They're not too bad today, so the concealer's not getting too creasy. Alright, next I'm going to set the concealer with one of two powders that I use. I'm going to use this pressed powder just to lightly tap into those areas where I put the concealer. This shade is 320 and it's lighter than my skin tone, so I'm going to start with that first. Just taking this fluffy brush and lightly patting the areas where I put that concealer. You see, I'm also going to get around my mouth area where lines typically be and just try to pat it in and set that concealer. And then once I feel pretty good with that, I'm going to go in with my second powder, and this is a loose powder. This is the Fit Me shade 30, which is a medium dark, and I'm just going to go over that pressed powder with this loose powder just so it can have a more flawless looking finish and last all day. I find that using two powders works well on an everyday basis just to make sure that those areas stay looking good and dry and not creasing. So yeah, this is my second powder, and I'm also going to take this powder and I'm going to use it lightly over the rest of my face just to kind of set the rest of that foundation. So just lightly using a fluffy brush, just lightly going over the rest of my face to make sure the products are set into place. Now this is my first time using a Maybelline blush. This one is in the shade Plum, and it is by Fit Me. It's the Fit Me line, and so it is a nice pinky, purpley type of color. So I'm just going to put this in the areas I love blush. It's like my favorite part, putting on blush. So I'm going to put this on. I did notice that it's not as pigmented as I would have liked it to be, so you're going to see me doing multiple layers. And even now watching this back, it's not, I guess it is showing up pretty well, but I like it to be a little bit more pigmented. I also like to put it on the bridge of my nose. I don't know, I feel like it gives me a youthful look, and so I'm just going to take this blush and just layer it on until it looks as pigmented as I would want. I probably could have gone in a little bit more, but we're going to stop there. After the blush, I'm going to just take my bronzing brush again and just go back over those areas that I put the powder on just to make sure that I can still see it. Next, I'm going to use this lifted lined lip pencil, and I'm going to line my lips. I believe this is the shade Let's Bounce. It looks a little bit red here. Now that I'm looking at it, I wish it was a little more neutral brown, but yeah, too late now. So I'm just gonna line my lips with this, and I really like this lip pencil. One thing I wish I would have done is kind of maybe set my lips with some powder to make the pencil last long, because I do notice that it doesn't last as long as I would like it to. So if you have any tips on how to get these pencils to last a little bit long, let me know. Next time I'm going to try to put a little bit of powder on before I apply the lip pencil. And then today, since this is an everyday look just for me to go to work, I'm just going to take some gloss, and I believe this is in the shade Amber. And not my favorite combination, but at the time I only had a little bit of time left, so it's too late to turn back. So we're just going to use that and put that all over the lips. And then I don't have any Maybelline eyebrow products, so I'm just taking a spoolie and I'm just gonna clean up my eyebrows and then also brush through my lashes. And if you're interested in these, I do get lash extensions, and this is a volume set that has like extra little wispies in there, and I really like them. They're very convenient. I don't have to use mascara every day, so I do the lashes more for convenience than anything, and I do love the way they look. Then I'm gonna step back and do probably my 50th face check just to make sure it looks okay, and I'm loving the way it looks. It looks like really my skin, except a little bit better. So I'm just gonna get dressed and then finish my final touches. At the end, I'm just going to pat my face, spray my face with some more setting spray, which I don't even think I did that, but you should spray your face again with And yeah, so that's the finished look. Full face of Maybelline, one of my favorite drugstore brands. So if you have any questions or comments, make sure to leave them below and I'll be sure to get back to you on those. So thanks for stopping by, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.